Hello, happy Wednesday. Today you guys are going to be looking at your first of the three Reconstruction amendments, and you're going to be starting off with the 13th, okay? Lucky number 13. Hey, that's the day of my birthday. Anyway, so with the 13th, it should have been a really joyous occasion, right? And mostly it was, because what it did is it eliminated slavery. No more. No more slavery, okay? Yay! However, there was a big exception that was written into the 13th that you're going to find out about in just a little while. So first off, I got to think about, well, how does an amendment get added to the Constitution anyway? And why is it important for it to be made an amendment? Wasn't there already the Emancipation Proclamation? And if you're wondering about that, you might go, well, wait a second. Abraham Lincoln put the Emancipation Proclamation into place back in 1863. January 1st, 1863 is when it was made official, right? Yay! However, one problem with the Emancipation Proclamation, as joyous and wonderful as it was, and with how much they loved this guy, Abraham Lincoln, there was still the problem of the border states, right? Plus all those southern states that were in rebellion that it was supposed to address, but they considered themselves to be not part of the United States, so until they were freed by Union forces, not that much was really happening on this, right? It was pretty much, meh. Okay, but it was a nice idea, and it did start taking effect for some, but they needed an amendment to come into place to make this so that, hey, it is truly official, it's part of the Constitution, and it can't just be taken away by the next guy, right? So for an amendment, what you've got to have is you've got to have 2/3 majority in Congress, and that means you've got to have it in the House, and you have to have it in the Senate. Okay, you got to have it in those two chambers. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen, okay? You got to have it in both. So that meant that in the Senate, that was a pretty easy deal. In 1864, it was no problem. Let's go ahead and let's get this done because it was a Republican majority in there, and that was a no-brainer. In the House, however, this is where there were some difficulties because it wound up being passed with only 2 votes, like only 2 votes on the winning side in order to get that 2/3 majority. Whoa, that was a close one, right? Part of the reason is because there were a couple of states who were given a few problems. You had these guys over here, and you might wonder, well, what's the deal with these guys? What's their problem? So first off, over here, you might have guessed that right. Here we've got Kentucky. Okay, and Kentucky said, nope. And remember, they were a border state, so they had slaves, and they might not have wanted to lose them, right? So maybe we wonder if that's their motivation. But then you've also got this guy right here. You got little bitty old Delaware, right? And you might be thinking, well, Delaware, what is your problem? But again, with Delaware, they are also a border state. Then finally, looking at this picture over here, we've got New Jersey, right? Oh, New Jersey. Now, here's the thing. New Jersey wasn't a border state. So what's its problem? Why not New Jersey? But they said no. So all of these states said, nope, we are not going to approve this thing. We are not going to ratify it. Because here's another thing. It goes beyond the 2/3, right? You've got to have the 2/3 majority in the House and Senate. Plus, then you've also got to have 3/4 of all states ratify it. And these guys, New Jersey, Kentucky, and Delaware, all said nope. So that means that then they had to get 5 southern states. 5 southern states had to agree to ratify it in order for it to be put in place. But man, that would be a pretty difficult thing. How would you go about getting 5 southern states to agree to that? They had slaves. So, what they decided to do with the 13th, and this also happens with the 14th Amendment, is that they were denied a seat. They were denied seats in Congress until their state ratified it. Okay, so no seat for you until you ratify. Okay? So, anyway, going back to this whole idea of the 13th, well, what exactly did it say anyway? I said there's a but there, right? I mean, no slavery, but let's take a look at what it actually says. So the 13th Amendment, it is passed and finally ratified December 6th, 1865 is when it's ratified, okay? So it becomes official, it goes into the Constitution. Here's what it says. Section 1, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted. Okay, here's that except. There's that but, right? A punishment for a crime. And then you're going, oh, but it has to be a big crime, right? I mean, it should be like a big deal. Nope. Instead, most of the crimes were cooked up and invented. Very tiny little things like not being employed or something like that was seen as enough of a crime where someone could be put into slavery. So there were lots of instances of that happening. Now, another thing about this amendment is Congress says that they shall have the power to enforce this. So Congress is starting to exert its authority over the states. But in terms of this amendment, it doesn't look as though a lot of that enforcement happened. Now, something else to think about here when we think about the 13th is we also should think about the current state of things. So there was a documentary that was put out by Netflix not too long ago, and it's called 13th. So if you have an interest in watching that, please talk to your parents first, but it is a really interesting documentary. So finally, about today's assignment. On today's assignment, this is what you're going to see, okay? So basically, you've got a Google Doc. There are 3 parts to it. You have 3 days to complete the whole thing, but you really need to take it day by day or else it's going to knock you out. It's going to be way too much, okay? And I've tried to make it so that it's a reasonable amount of work. So you guys are each individually going to have this doc assigned to you in Google Classroom. So your first job here is you have to watch, okay? You are going to watch this video right here. You click on the picture to go out to the link. It'll take you there. You watch it. It's like 3 minutes long. And then over here, once you're done, you are going to summarize that video. You're going to give me some good details that you heard in that video. Just straight up summary. Just what did it say? Okay? Then you're going to give me some response. And again, I want some good thinking. I want some questions. I want some inferences. I want some comments. I want all of it. Okay? So you need to have 3 to 4 sentences of summary, and you need to have 2 to 3 sentences at least of response. Please fill this up, expand the box, okay? Then, your next step, you have this full text of the amendment, okay? You're going to go down in here, and first you're going to look at section 1, and you're going to figure out what is it talking about, what's it talking about, and then over here, you're going to paraphrase it. That means that you put it into your own words. What is it saying in section 1? Same thing for section 2. Oh, what's this really saying over here? Put it into your own words right here, please. Okay? Complete thoughts. Don't skimp on me. Then over here, you are going to drop in some images. So you can drop in some JPEGs, or you can drop in, what are they, PNGs, or you can drop in some GIFs or whatever. But you want to think about what are some pictures that represent what the amendment is about and what it means to you, okay? Those can be symbols. So that is your job day by day, but for Wednesday, this is the part that you need to complete, all right? Please let me know if you have any questions. I'll be on Remind. Bye.